Reeves Immigration Law Group now brings you immigration law on your side.
Magandang gabi mga kababayan and Happy New Year from Reeves Immigration Law Group and PHLV Radio. Narito na naman po ang unang pagtatanghal ng immigration law on your side ngayong 2021. Napakaganda at naitawid na natin, tapos na ang 2020 at pero sigurado napakarami pang mga usapin hinggil sa immigration. Kaya ngayon, sisimulan natin kaagad ang taon with a very, very hot topic. In fact, we all know that the U.S. immigration laws, sometimes it can be harsh. We all know that. And, the worst part is sometimes nakikita natin sa telebisyon, online, at sa iba pang mga outlets ang paghihiwalay ng mga anak sa kanilang mga magulang because of their immigration status. Some of them naghintay ng napakatagal, nag-age out yung kanilang mga anak, turned over 21 years old. So medyo naging komplikado yung kanilang kaso. So what do parents do in such a situation? Do they go to the US anyway? Pumunta sila dito, hindi kasama yung mga anak na nag-age out? Or do they abandon their dream? They let go of their American dream at hindi nilang sila? Or meron bang ibang relief na pwedeng magamit sila? Katulad po ng pag-uusapan natin ngayong gabing ito dito sa Immigration Law on Your Side. It is the Child Status Protection Act. Napakagandang topic mga kababayan. Kaya to help us navigate dito sa Child Status Protection Act, i-welcome na natin ngayong New Year ang ating kaibigan from Reeves Immigration Law Group. Nandito na si Attorney FJ Diza live from San Francisco Bay Area. Magandang gabi po sa iyo, Attorney, and Happy New Year.
Good afternoon, Johan, at sa lahat ng viewers and listeners natin ng PHLV Radio, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Magtatime ako sandali.
Aha.
Tensya ka na. Yes, maraming salamat. Today is January 6 at magandang pag-usapan natin ang Child Status Protection Act. Yung tama, hawak-hawak ko ngayon bata.
Ayun.
Right? So, karamihan na mga kabataan, Kuya Yo, at nagse-celebrate pag dumarating panahon na 21 years old, di ba? Hindi lang sa atin sa Pilipinas, dito sa Amerika, it's a worldwide. Pero kapag immigration ang pag-uusapan, pag nag-turn 21 ang bata, hindi yan nakakasama. That's generally what the law under immigration, because children is defined as below 21 and unmarried.
Aha.
Right? So once na nag-21 yung bata, Kuya Yo, hindi yan makakasama sa petition ng magulang o pinetition sila ng magulang nila, na green card holder or derivative sila ng petition ng kanilang lolo, lola, mga uncle and aunts, hindi na yan makakarating sa Amerika. So that's actually the immigration law is. But good thing about it, Kuya Yo, is that noong 2002, niremedyohan yan. At sinasabi nila, they created yung tinatawag na Child Status Protection Act or commonly known as CSPA. At ang maganda nito, binibigyan ng protection mga bata na nag-age out para makarating pa sila sa United States. So ito'y nag-a-apply, Kuya Yo, sa mga petition ng US citizen parent, or lawful permanent resident parent, and then also petition din ng mga derivative. Pinag-usapan natin dati yung mga preference category, yung mga married children, unmarried children, mga ganyan, right? Or uncles, or even family-based petition. So, ganun ang nangyayari. Andali Kuya Yo.
Pero attorney, ang iyong hawak-hawak ay matagal pang mag-age out.
It applies to all kinds of petition, no? At as we mentioned, kapag ang maganda nito, Kuya, isa-isahin natin kung sino yung petitioner. So, kung petitioner ay US citizen, right? So, petitioning minor children, right? Ang maganda nito, Kuya Yo, is that once you file the petition, nag-freeze yung age ng bata at that point. So, marami sa ating mga kababayan kasi either naghihintay sila ng good opportunity or wala pa silang budget or talagang ayaw pa nilang papuntahin dito yung kanilang mga anak, they wait until the last minute. But the good thing is that kapag citizen po kayo at final yung petition yung anak ninyo na let's say 19 years old, right? At ang processing time, especially at this pandemic where it takes about 1 to 2 years bago maaprubahan, bago aksyonan ng USCIS. Huwag kayong mag-alala because from the time you file the petition, nag-freeze yung age ng bata. So yung sinasabi natin na forever below 21 yung bata. So dahil sa delay, dahil let's say immigration suspect that the child is not yours and they require a DNA test before they approve, right? So naging 23 years old na yung bata, 5 taon na yung lumipas, so hindi nag-age out ang bata, hindi yan mako-convert into a F1 or yung preference na may waiting time na 10 taon. So forever below 21 yan, pag napatunayan na anak yung bata and able to provide kung ano man yung mga immigration documents na hiningi ng USCIS, then the child could still immigrate as below 21 or as a child. So yun yung isang scenario, Kuya Yo. So maraming scenario yan. At pangalawa would be, let's say, kayo ay green card holder lang, right? At hindi pa kayo pwede mag-citizen dahil wala pa kayo sa tamang panahon, di ba? Mayroong requirement yan na 5 years yung waiting time before you're able to apply for naturalization. At may anak kayong naiwan sa Pilipinas at hindi po napepetisyon, right? So let's say 18 years old na yung anak po ninyo and then pinetition mo under, as a green card holder, and we all know that sometimes the waiting time takes about, 2 years to 5 years. So instead of mag-age out ho yung bata, ang gagawin po nyo, if you file your citizenship, right?
Okay mga kaibigan, magbabalik po si Attorney live from the Bay Area. Medyo inaayos natin ang ating Zoom connection from the Bay Area. Magbabalik po ang Immigration Law on Your Side. Magandang pinag-uusapan natin ngayon ang ating Child Status Protection Act.
Hello,
subukan natin. Ayan, nakabalik na si Attorney. Attorney, pinapaliwanag niyo po kanina yung mga may hawak ng green cards. Go ahead po, Attorney.
Yeah, sa beginning of the year, so maraming
gumagamit ng Zoom, ha? Okay, balikan natin si Attorney. Commercial break muna tayo. We will be reminding you about Reeves Immigration Law Group, mga kababayan. We'll get back to Attorney Diza. Diyan lang po kayo.
Reeves Immigration Law Group has been representing immigrants for nearly 40 years. Reeves Immigration Law Group has been fighting for its clients through experience and expertise. With immigration lawyers you can access at reasonable fees, even on Saturday. Payment plans are also available. Call us for your immigration solutions. We can do worldwide telephone and Skype consultations. Reeves Immigration Law Group, 1-800-795-8009. Reeves Immigration Law Group has offices in Los Angeles, San Francisco, China, and Philippines. See us at www.rreeves.com. Reeves Immigration Law Group, 1-800-795-8009.
Mga kababayan, nagbabalik po ang Immigration Law on Your Side. We'll try to see if Attorney Diza is on the line right now. Ayan, nakabalik na si Attorney from San Francisco Bay Area. New Year na New Year. Marami siguro gumagamit ng Zoom, Attorney?
marami siguro. Can you hear me and see me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, Attorney. And I can see you too.
Na? Okay, good. So we're back on track. Tama yan. It's a New Year. Siguro maraming nag-zoom. At karamihan kasi ngayon stay at home pa rin ang Bay Area. So that's maybe the reason. Nagkaroon ulit ng extension ng order ni Governor Newsom to stay at home. So we're back, Kuya Yo, at we're going to continue our discussion on the Child Status Protection Act. Very exciting and interesting topic, beginning of the year. And as we were saying that if the child get married, at citizen po ang nagpetition and the child is below 21, automatic ma-convert yan into a married petition of a married son or daughter that takes about 20 years. So, but once the child divorce, at nagkaroon ng final decree of divorce, babalik ulit siya ng immediate relative. So, pwede rin siya ulit magiging child under definition of the Immigration and Nationality Act would be able to immigrate as a child. So, ito yung very common scenario, Kuya Yo, ng Child Status Protection Act. But there are also situations where it becomes more complicated dahil yung paghihintay ng matagal, di ba? Previous in our discussions, yung mga preference category, kagaya ng petitioning siblings, takes about 23 years. Petitioning married children takes about 20 years. And even children over 21 unmarried, takes about 10 to 15 years. Ito yung processing time. And of course, yung mga ibang mga kababayan natin na sinasabi hindi pa nga yan pinapanganak ng pinetition, di ba? So they were expecting that the children would be able to immigrate with their parents. No? But unfortunately, yun ang definition po ng children below 21 and unmarried at the time of immigration. But as we are discussing, Kuya Yo, itong Child Status Protection Act would give some protection para ma-avoid yung age out ng bata and would still be able to immigrate with the family. It's kind of frustrating din sa mga kababayan natin who are waiting in line. Yung lalo na nandito na sa US at hindi naghintay na matagal tapos hindi rin pala sila makapag-adjust.
Masakit nga yun pagka naghintay ka ng napakatagal tapos at the end of the line ay medyo marami akong narinig na ganyang scenario, attorney, yung nag-age out yung anak ko, yung ganyan-ganyan, ano. So it's a very common thing pala talaga ito. That's why malaking tulong pala itong Child Status Protection Act. In your firm, attorney, were there cases and ano po ang mga nadaanan nating experience sa ating mga kababayan regarding this? Nahihirapan ba ang ating mga kababayan regarding this? Or meron bang mga kababayan tayong nag-give up na lang at hindi na lang pumunta ng Amerika dahil hindi kasama yung... Because tayo mga Pilipino, we're so close-knit as a family, di ba?
Yeah, the good thing about Filipino is they find ways, especially as you mentioned, close family ties tayo, So what they do is they consult an attorney, which is a good thing. Marami sa kanila, and we appreciate people who look for solutions, and there are law firm like us at Reeves Immigration Law Group who renders free legal consultation. That kung mayroon mang consultation in the past, it's very minimal and that will be credited towards the contract if you're going to hire our services. But as of now, in-reiterate natin sa mga viewers natin that we still render free legal consultation. And tama ka, Kuya Yo, marami sa ating mga nag-age out. But interestingly, Kuya Yo, marami yung sa atin mga kababayan na nalilito. As again, sa Child Status Protection Act. As we discussed kanina, yung mga anak ng US citizen at minor yung children, yun yung napoprotektahan ka agad kasi nag-freeze yung age nila from the time that you file the petition. But it does not apply to preference category. So, pinetition po kayo ng lolo ang nag-file ng petition sa magulang po ninyo at that time, 2 years old lang kayo. But since the processing, the priority date takes about 20 years, the 21 years na kayo or 22 na by that time. So, in that situation, Kuya Yo, at kailangan talang tignan kung paano maprotektahan. Very simple ang process yan. May formula yan, Kuya Yo, aside from the discussions that we have, yung mga pinetition po ng mga preference category or employment. Halimbawa, mayroon po kayong mga hospitals na pinetition ang magulang nyo as registered nurse dito and takes about 5 years, and at that time, yung pinetition yung magulang nyo, you're only like probably 16, 17 years old, pero ngayon you're 23. So very close. Titignan po natin, titignan po ninyo yan, computation na yan, titignan kung kailan final yung petition. Right? At pangalawa, titignan kung kailan na-approve yung petition. Yun yung palang titignan. And then pangatlo, titignan kung kailan naging available yung petition, yung visa. Right? At ilang taon kayo at that time. So, ang calculation nito is that titignan mo kung lang final ng petition at kailan na-approve. Hindi yung kailan naging current or available yung visa. A lot of people are confused with the approval and with the approval and the priority date becoming available. So those are two different things, di ba? Na-approve lang yung petition nyo saying that na ipakita ninyo na yung relationship is legit, di ba? Anak mo to, so na-approve yan. But also there's a processing time. As we mentioned, yung petitioning ng unmarried children over 21, siguro 3 hanggang 5 taon yan. Right? So yun yung processing time bago nila desisyonan. So let's say, pinetition po kayo ng lolo nyo, pinetition yung magulang nyo, right? Ang titignan ng processing time is 5 taon, right? Para i-approve. Ibig lang sabihin nun, yung lolo, siya yung tatay ng magulang nyo. So that's, you're able to determine that. You're able to establish that and USCIS approve the case. But it doesn't mean that in 5 years time, makakarating na po kayo kung ang category po ninyo is F4 or sibling petition. So 20 years yan. So maghintay pa kayo na additional 15 years. So yun po yung scenario. So yun po yung approval. So that's the next step. Look at the approval. So yung sitwasyon natin kanina, 5 taon pa lang hinintay. Di ba? So And then, naghintay ko na another 15 years by that time, you know, for example, you're already 20 over 21. So the good thing is that, you know, let's say yung example natin, yung lolo pinetition ng 2,000, yung magulang nyo as I'm sorry, yung kapatid pala, yung kapatid pinetition yung uncle nyo, pinetition yung tatay nyo, right? Under the category as F4 in 2000, right? Na-approve siya in 2005, so 5 taon yan. And then, naging current siya in 2010. 2020. Kasi 20 years ang waiting time. Mm-hmm. So let's say kayo po ay 25 years old na, right, in 2020. Titingnan mo, naging current siya to 25 years old po kayo. Kailan final? 2000, kailan na-approve? 2005. So mayroon kayong 5 years. So yun ang i-deduct mo, Kuya Yo. So 25 years old, less 5 years. So meron kayong, you're considered as 20 years old. Diba? So you're considered as a child under Child Status Protection Act, you're able to immigrate with your parent. Yun ang kinaganda nun, Kuya Yo. But also remember, right, that not only you have the computation and it shows that you are below 21, you have also seek to acquire within 1 year. Kailangan mo i-process yung petition na yan. Kasi kung, you know, if your parents did not act on the petition, sasabihin na gusto nila sa Amerika ay sa Pilipinas, you know, may pandemic yun, ayaw namin i-process. So if you failed to seek to acquire within 1 year from the time na sinabihan kayo ng NVC that you have to process the case already, right? You failed to seek to acquire within 1 year, then you lose that protection in Child Status Protection Act. So that's how it worked, Kuya Yo. And as I said, a lot of our kababayan na-confuse sila na akala nila yung priority date ang i-deduct. Hindi po yun, yung approval. From the time you file an approval, yun po ang deduction sa inyong age. And at that point, Kuya Yo, in 1990s, parang wala pang 1 month ang ang waiting time, tapos ina-approve na. But shortly of saying as of now is that the longer you wait, yung approval ninyo, the better. Lalo na kung, you know, meron kayong mga tawag nito, mag-age out na anak. In fact, yung strategy namin abogado minsan is that, you know, if you do the computation parang tagilid, di ba? Kasi nakikita mo yung processing time, i-approve na ito in 2 years or 3 years. So what we do is sometimes we miss, well, it's not advisable, and again, you need to seek an attorney. It's a strategy, you know, it's an advocacy of attorneys like us para lang makasama mga bata. Magsasubmit tayo ng ibang evidence or left, you know, some documents out, and then pag nag-request na, para hindi ma-approve ka agad, di ba? So wag naman yung very important document kasi baka i-deny naman. So what we do is that we wait for the request for evidence, you know, that will also delay the case at one time. Bibigyan ka ng another 90 days, maximize mo yan. That's another 3 months because that will be deducted yun sa age ng bata. So the strategy-wise, sometimes it work or a lot of times work as long as your attorneys know what they are doing. So yun yung mga strategy na ginagawa natin. And again, Child Status Protection Act is a very complex case, and sa mga kababayan natin na may mga petition, it's really important for you to keep all your records. Kasi isa pang problema, Kuya Yo, sa mga kababayan natin, 1990s or 2000 yung petition, you know, matanda na yung kanilang petitioner, sasabihin nila, attorney, wala na ako niyan, wala ako, hindi ko alam yan. So, ang susunod nilang nakikita, syempre yung notice na from the NVC na 20 years attorney, ito na yung approval. That's not the approval, just the next step that you're going to do, you know, to complete the process, but that's not the approval. So yun po ang advice natin, Kuya Yo, of course, to keep all the records, especially the receipt, the approval notice, and the subsequent notices from the National Visa Center, and present it to your attorney when you have a discussion and consultation whether or not your child qualifies under the Child Status Protection Act.
Well, it takes a lot of experience and strategy pala ito. Kaya pala merong computation.
Totoo yan, Kuya. Kailangan i-strategize lahat para makarating ang inyong anak dito sa US.
Mm-hmm. All right. And tama kayo, attorney. Marami na ako confused dito at maraming mga nagtanong sa atin regarding that, and a lot of them would like to reach out to you. Let's remind them, attorney, kung paano po kayo makukontak sa Reeves Immigration Law Group, especially at this time of pandemic, the ways that they can reach you po, attorney.
Yes, we have several offices in California. We have one in Manila. So contact our office, check our website at www.reeves.com. We also have several social media platforms, including our Facebook page, Reeves Immigration Law Group, my own page as well. It's FJ Diza, immigration law attorney. We keep on updating immigration laws and policies in the U.S. You can also call our office at 415-568-3777. We render free consultation at this time, para mabigyan po kayo ng magandang advice tungkol po sa immigration concern po ninyo.
Okay. Attorney, at this point, unless you still have other things to discuss regarding the Child Status Protection Act, excited po ang ating mga kababayan and those who've been tuning in to Immigration Law on Your Side on what we can tell them as far as immigration updates are concerned. Kasi nga naman talagang mainit na mainit ngayong araw lang na ito ay talagang mainit na mainit ang political climate natin. As you know, if you've been following the news today and in the next few days marami pang mga balita, and I'm sure it will in one way or another will intersect with immigration issues. So Attorney, as we start the year 2021, ano po ang ating mga balita na pwedeng maibigay sa ating mga kababayan regarding immigration po, Attorney? Especially yung suspension po ba ng yung entry of immigrants that was supposed to end 2020. Balita natin ito ay na-extend hanggang March. Ano po, Attorney?
Yes, Kuya Yo. Before that, we are all excited, as you said. We have witnessed a historic presidential election and turnover of power. As we are talking right now, this ongoing, chaos in the Capitol Hill,
Right.
But of course, and also the runoff sa Georgia, it's also a very historic event, and that determines who's going to be the majority in the Senate. At as immigration advocates and attorneys and immigrants, Kuya Yo, we're excited kasi kung we have a Senate majority of Democrats that would, support President-elect Biden's immigration policy. We're hoping that President-elect Biden would keep his promise, to do the comprehensive immigration reform, pathway to citizenship sa mga DACA recipients. We're all excited and keep watching our program, Immigration Law on Your Side. Right, para i-update po namin kayo kung ano nangyayari sa larangan ng imigrasyon dito sa US. Yeah, it's just because of the pandemic, Kuya Yo, the President Trump extended, the suspension of the entry of immigrants, including yung mga non-immigrants, yung mga H-1B. So wala yan until March 31. But hinihintay natin yan at the end of the year. Remember, right? We're anticipating na magkakaroon ng interviews, early of this year. But it looks like because of the suspension, wala pang mga interviews unless titingnan natin that dalawang scenario yan. Number one would be after President-elect Joe Biden will be inaugurated in January 20. Tingnan natin kung anong gagawin niya dito sa extension. Baka ikat naman siya. So don't be frustrated. I know that March 31 is still far away, and who knows after January 20, magbabago po yan. And also sa mga kababayan natin, remember there are also exceptions dun sa immigration policy suspending the entry of immigrants and non-immigrants. Kung kayo po ay asawa ng US citizen, kung kayo po ay minor na anak ng US citizen, at kung kayo po ay working coming here to work under healthcare professionals, right? Or ipinag-usapan lang natin, Kuya Yo, you think that the child or your children is about to age out, pwede po kayong huminga ng exception, right? Or exemption dito sa suspension ng entry of immigrants. Marami po kami mga client, Kuya Yo, that we requested, yung exception, and we were able to get interviews and we're able to get approvals. And unfortunately, yun ang maganda lang dito sa exception, at kung may abogado kayo that would push and advocate your case. So yun yung balita, Kuya Yo. At sana ang hope natin is that after January 20, mabago yung suspension, malift yung suspension, right? But of course, keep updating yourself dun sa aming website, sa aming mga social media platforms kung ano na yung bagong policy. So yun yung number one, and then it's still pandemic din naman, kahit sabihin natin na wala yung suspension na yan. Ang dami pa ring mga restrictions to travel, Kuya Yo, and not only the UK but also the Philippines recently then imposed sa mga US citizens at mga galing sa Amerika na mandatory 14-day quarantine din. So, those things to consider kahit sabihin natin wala yung suspension. Ang advice natin sa mga kababayan natin na naghihintay ng visa is that update nyo ang inyong mga civil documents na, right? Kung more than 1 year na po kayo nag-submit sa National Visa Center, yung inyong CENOMAR, yung Certificate of No Marriage, yung inyong NBI clearance, nag-expire na yan, I think it's a good idea for you to start gathering and updating your civil documents.
Attorney, isa sa mga naitanong sa atin dito sa radio station over the past 2 weeks kasi may mga kaibigan tayo dito sa mga World War II veterans na mga kaibigan natin dito sa Las Vegas. Kumusta na po, Attorney, itong yung ending of the Filipino World War II veteran parole?
Yes, Kuya Yo. Actually, din yan isa sa mga last minute na policy ng President Pangulong Trump is ending the Filipino World War II Veteran Parole Program. Just to remind yung mga kababayan natin, yung mga Filipinos who fought with the US during World War II, right, nabigyan po sila ng citizenship, US citizenship in the 1990s. And some of them did not file an immigrant visa petition for the children right away. Right? And as we all know, pag kasal na po yung inyong anak, it takes about 18 to 25 years. So, at mga veteran nating mga kababayan, siyempre may edad na yan. But of course, in order to ease their pain and to care for them, President Obama then enact or impose a policy that says, the children are able to come here kahit hindi pa available yung visa nila, right? Paparole sila dito to live with their parents, to care for their aging parents, support them, care for them, and show love to them, during the remaining years. And then, abang naghihintay ng priority date, di ba, dito na hintayin at once becomes available, dito na sila mag-green card. And we have many clients who were able to avail this program. But unfortunately, again, President Trump's last-minute policy imposed na ite-terminate to. Actually, nagbigay sila ng comment, Kuya, it's not in place yet, right? They were giving the public the opportunity to make comment, right, and which we oppose. And hopefully hindi nga implement, but we'll wait and see if this will be implemented before President Trump leaves office.
Alam mo, Attorney, na-miss kayo ng ating mga listeners kaya maraming mga questions na sinute dito. Isa dito yung paulit-ulit nating napag-usapan last year yung itong public charge, and one of the provisions there, or one of the issues that we talked about there, is the health insurance requirement before one can immigrate to the United States. What's the update, Attorney, regarding this policy?
Yes, this Ninth Circuit decision, Kuya Yo, upholding President Trump's policy that require intending immigrants, let's say yung anak niyong naghintay ng visa sa Pilipinas, so bago sila makapasok dito, they are required to get a health insurance policy before they are able to come here. So that's upheld by the Ninth Circuit Court. So even before the pandemic, Kuya Yo, the embassy already required, on our clients to submit health insurance that we did. Help them obtain a health insurance before they're able to immigrate. So kapag in-uphold lang ito ng Ninth Circuit Court, and again, we have to wait and see President-elect Biden if he's going to continue this policy or terminate it. But as of now, kung ang inyong anak or beneficiaries are able to have an interview, get the interview because they are under the exception ng suspension of the entry of immigrants, we strongly recommend you to look for an insurance policy already, before they go to the interview para ma-present na po ninyo yan during the interview.
Wag lang malito yung ating mga kababayan. So itong health insurance requirement, this applies to immigrant visas, Attorney, hindi ito sa mga H1B, mga ganyan na pupunta dito sa Amerika?
This are applicable only, Kuya, sa immigrants. Yes, intending immigrants dito. Now, coming to the US, but also people in the US, right, yung nag-adjust ng status dito because of marriage or yung availability ng visa, ang requirements sa kanila yung self-sufficiency, di ba?
Yeah.
They have to make sure that they are not public charged by providing additional form. Ito yung I-944, self-sufficiency, and they have to show that they are not burden to the US government. So sila nagpo-provide, Kuya Yo, ng either sponsor, and also promising that they're not to be a public charge by providing yung kanilang skills, yung kanilang education, that they are able to find a job, yung kanilang credit score, yung kanilang bank insurance and stuff like that. Because otherwise, if they have availed of public charge in the past for the last 24 years, that could be a ground of inadmissibility, meaning that could be a ground for the refusal or denial of their adjustment of status. So in both ways, Kuya Yo, yung self-sufficiency applies to making sure that people here coming to the US or getting the green card, hindi pabigat sa gobyerno at hindi hihingi sa gobyerno.
Okay. Alam mo, Attorney, maraming mga updates, I'm sure, within the next few days. And that's why ang immigration law on your side, dito pa sa PHLV Radio, atid sa atin ang ating mga kaibigan from Reeves Immigration Law Group. We'll be having another program most probably next week. We will update you again, especially with the results of the Georgia runoffs. Malaman natin kung ano ang magiging epekto nito sa U.S. immigration. And Attorney, I'll give you this floor to address our audience, especially at this brand new year with so much hope, and mukhang we're really hoping that 2021 will be brighter. I hope na magkita na ulit tayo dito sa Las Vegas, Attorney.
Yes, I'm excited, Kuya Yo, to go back to work, and excited for 2021, and hope, it's my vaccination na, and as an immigration attorney, we are very happy today, right? I think that they already declared that 2 Democrats in Georgia won the election. Ibig sabihin nun 50 Democrats and 50 Republicans, meaning kung magkaroon ng mga batas, immigration law kasama dyan, at may 50-50 ang vote, the Vice President, who is also a Democrat, Kamala Harris, would break the tie, and hopefully, there are many immigration reforms, immigration laws that would, help our kababayan, right, na naghihintay ng kanilang visa sa Pilipinas or elsewhere in the world, or people who are here, para mabigyan naman sila ng magandang kinabukasan at mabigyan sila ng status or green card para makapagtrabaho ng maayos at makapagbayad ng tax, makapag-contribute din sa ating ekonomiya. And yes, Kuya Yo, and sa mga kababayan natin, it's a new year, at sa mga hindi pa nagpapa-advise at nagko-konsulta sa abogado, kung nandito po kayo, right, at gusto niyo malaman kung ano yung options niyo, it's about time for you to pick up your phone, get your cell phone, call our office, 415-568-3777. Most of our attorneys are experienced, a combination of more than 100 years or maybe more, right? Sa lahat ng more than 10 immigration law specialists, immigration law attorneys ng law firm namin. And as we mentioned, ulitin po natin, free po kami ngayon, right? Free consultation. Just call us and set an appointment, and you're able to discuss discuss your immigration problems, and hopefully we'll give you a solution for this year and the years to come. Maraming salamat, Kuya Yo, at sa viewers and listeners natin, continue watching our program, Immigration Law on Your Side, and also the other programs of PHLV Radio. Palaki, paganda, at paganda ng paganda ang mga programa ng PHLV Radio.
Maraming salamat, Attorney Flomi Javier Diza from Reeves Immigration Law Group. Nagagaling po sa Bay Area, San Francisco, California. Maraming salamat at Happy New Year po sa lahat ng mga staff at lahat ng mga bumubuo ng Reeves Immigration Law Group worldwide. May opisina dyan sa Makati and sa China as well. And of course, malapit dito sa Las Vegas dyan sa may LA area. Nako, Happy New Year po sa inyong lahat. And once again, Attorney, maraming salamat. And we will have you again on the next episode of Immigration Law on Your Side para sa iba pang mga updates at iba pang mga mga bagay-bagay na dapat malaman natin regarding sa immigration. And to all our listeners worldwide on all the platforms on the PHLV Radio app for our audio service. Maraming salamat para sa ating podcast listeners. Thank you so much. Last year, napakarami mga nag-download ng podcast natin. Thank you so much for downloading Immigration Law on Your Side podcast on iTunes or Apple Podcast and iHeartRadio. Maraming salamat po. And to our new listeners and viewers sa atin pong sa widescreen, attorney, sa ating Amazon Fire TV. Maraming salamat po. Thank you so much for being there. Pagpaumanhin nyo na po ang aming mga itsura natin. Ako'y taga-radyo lamang po at ako'y hindi taga-TV. Pero po, sisikapin po natin na the whole year, 2021, palalakihin pa natin ang ating immigration law on your side, especially right there with Attorney Diza. So again, from the PHLV Radio Studios here in Las Vegas, and on behalf of Attorney Diza from San Francisco, California, this is Kuya Yo for Immigration Law on your side from PHLV Radio and Reeves Immigration Law Group. We will see you next time. And again, Happy New Year!
Reeves Immigration Law Group has just brought you Immigration Law on Your Side. Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Pacific on PHLV Radio.